these are the generation that's gonna, in the areas of IT or ICT, MSc. It's very important and vital to have, a huge pool of young entrepreneurs coming, coming up into the scene. And what are the challenges that you feel as a young entrepreneur in Malaysia? What are the challenges that you find? Well, at least, what is the biggest challenge that you find? Is it funding? Is it market access? Or is it just even finding the right business model? What do you feel is your biggest challenge so far?
Okay, actually all those things that you mentioned are realistic concerns for us.
Right.
I think first of all, one of the challenges that we had that I think now is a lot easier is a mentality and support.
Right.
Simply because I think up to recently, I think it's only happened in the past 2 or 3 years that entrepreneurship has really all of a sudden become a hot topic. Prior to that, prior to most of MDEC's work, actually, MDEC's been doing a lot of good work with entrepreneurs, but prior to that, it was seen as something very risky,
right?
And you don't tend to get a lot of support from your friends and your relatives and all that. I think most people to get past that, but it's easy to get past now because it's become sort of mainstream culture. So now there's all these like podcasts and websites dealing with entrepreneurship. In fact, a really funny thing was I was eating Steamboat in Sunway recently, and it was really funny because there was this entrepreneurship consultancy agency.
Wow!
And I was like, wow, how much money do entrepreneurs make to have actually be able to afford a consultancy agency? And next to it was a loan shark. Was a money lending company, and then next to that,
how convenient.
Next to that was cash converters.
Right.
So it's like a full business life cycle.
Yeah, it's a full business life cycle. That's good to know. So you feel that the mentality of society in general and the support is there.
It's growing. It's definitely growing.
It's growing. So you didn't have any problems with your parents or your family to come out and do this.
No. Actually, I come from a family that's very supportive.
Right.
But I would understand if some people were a bit edgy about it.
Right.
But to be perfectly honest, I mean, even if you don't become an entrepreneur, if you want to become a freelancer or whatever, I reckon that it's something that most youngsters at least should explore at some stage in their lives, just to see what it's like,
Right.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, go back to your day job by all means. Nothing against that. Another challenge, this is a big one,
right,
is the gap between pre-seed and Series A funding. So basically, there's a lot of pre-seed funds available. You've got Cradle, you have MDEC, and they're all really supportive.
Right.
But between that and going for your Series A, there's a lot of there's a gap,
Meaning you'll be dry of funds?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the funds from Cradle and MDEC require you to develop a prototype, and they specifically require you not to use the funds for commercialization.
Right.
So at the end of the fund, what you have is a prototype. But where do you go with it from there? How do you manage to prove its market worth, and go after Series A funding? You need money to do that, obviously, and that money is not available.
Right. But I guess you've been lucky because you've got like partners, retail partners, when it comes to distribution. So that sort of helps,
In particular, for B2C companies, it's even more difficult because if you're going to B2B, if you have a product, you can sort of like sell it to one client and get like a huge amount of money in.
Yeah, or a huge contract.
Yeah, but for a B2C, it's slowly growing your business, especially in the initial stages when you lack traction in the market.
Yeah.
It's a bit difficult. We had problems. We were approaching a lot of retailers, and to get to the 14 that we are at right now, we approached literally like maybe like 7 or 8 times as many, and got rejected.
Yeah.
So it is difficult, and even up to now, I would say, honestly, our cash flow is not positive yet. So we're slowly bleeding money, which is why we're looking for investment.
You're growing organically as we speak. But what's the traction like? How's the pickup? The
pickup for retail has been really good, actually. Okay, so the way it's worked is, funnily enough, I always thought selling greeting cards online would make a lot of sense, but it hasn't so far.
So you've tried selling greeting cards online?
Oh, we still are, and we do, but not in huge quantities. And in fact, to the point where I think about 6 months ago, I was thinking, oh my god, my product sucks, and I can't sell any. And then...
is it because it's an Asian culture, though, not to buy greeting cards online?
I haven't figured out the answer to that question yet.
Right, but
to be perfectly honest,
right.
I think the majority of the market is in the US and the UK, but I'm not sure whether it's because Malaysian market is a bit cautious. So we went to retail, and all of a sudden we started selling cards. We go like, whew, okay, our cards can actually sell, so that's not so bad.
Yeah,
you know?
we're getting money.
Yeah, we're actually getting money. You know? It was a great moment for us, you know. So yeah, that's I guess another problem. Market access to the US, especially with the B2C. If you're based in the US, let's say you're based in Silicon Valley, you meet these bloggers all the time. You meet investors and so on and so forth. And regardless of whether or not you actually get something out of them, you talk to them on a regular basis. So if you ask for like a blog entry, say like, hey, can you post up something for me? They'll be more than willing to at least put you on your Twitter, if not their actual blog. But if we're from Malaysia and I send this guy an email saying, hey, I got this really cool product, I'm from Malaysia, he'll probably just put it into his spam box straight away. You know, so there is a market access problem there.
What is, because I'm sure you've tried to approach a few, I don't know whether you've tried to approach a few VCs to get some funding. What is your general impression of them? Do they know their stuff? Because I've actually had a few complaints to say that VCs don't understand the market, they don't understand technology, so they do tend to really, they tend to act like banks. They go for safe bets, whereas as VC you are supposed to take risks.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's a chicken and egg scenario, really. I mean, you see, with let's say in Silicon Valley, these VCs know that there's a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. Facebook, Google,
you know, $1 million to $1 billion, yeah.
Exactly. Here, you don't see that. You know, so at the end of the day, I mean, investors are looking out for their best interests, you know. So they would invest in like 5 companies or 10 companies or whatever, and none of them succeed. You know, they're going to get a bit cautious there. And especially, I think, in general, it wouldn't be unfair to say that Asians in general are more cautious than their Western counterparts.
Yes, they are.
Good and bad.
Yeah, we can't fail.
Yeah,
that's one of the cultures.
But personally speaking, I've heard of this banker mentality, and I've met 1 or 2 VCs that are like that. But I've also met other VCs that are very, if not, I mean, they don't invest, but they're very supportive. They say, I think you got something good going. I think you need to get to this stage, this stage, and we will consider you. Of course, getting to that stage is the challenge. Right. But if getting money was easy, everybody would get it, right?
Yeah. So, yeah. Right. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for your input. I think that's all the time that we have for this week. Thank you for being here. Hopefully you'll do very well. Check out his cards at stores, retail stores, in some of the shopping malls. They're really cute. If you're young at heart, you know, you'll like it. What's your website?
www.foldees.com. That's FOLDEES.com.
All right, okay then. Thanks for your time with us. You know, have a productive week in technology.